So guys, throughout the last month, a lot of different stuff has come to my attention about aliens. You know, you've probably seen it all over about these aliens like getting revealed from Mexico and stuff. And it's probably like the most insane news we've ever received about aliens. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit here today with all the news. And essentially, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was real proof about alien sightings and like them getting revealed and having the bodies there and then in Mexico. This was about a month ago now, so to rejig your memory, if you're thinking this is recent, it's about a month old, but it's still very recent. And here's a quick clip about it.
What they said were the corpses of aliens.
Yeah, the video of those little bodies sparked a lot of skepticism.
What I've been seeing is some people think it's a distraction, but regardless to whatever it is, whether it's a distraction or it's real, it's here. Everyone's talking about it, and it's evidence nevertheless. Let's get into some details about this whole situation. Where did they find these alien bodies? Well, the guy that actually found them, his name was Jermaine Musan, and he's a UFO-tologist, and his nickname, they called him the UFO Hunter. Over the years, which I'll get more into about this guy in particular, when you do research about this guy, Musan, he has a lot of history. A lot of history for faking things. There was actually something that came to light years and years ago about him finding aliens just like this. There's a whole investigation behind it. Forensics looked and examined the bodies and it came out as a fake, and he got a reputation of being like a fake, a hoax, you know, someone that's not very reliable and likes faking things. But these bodies were always a little bit different. They came to light once again. So many people were jumping on this, trying to find out what's happened, examining these, forensics, checking the DNA, and like trying to establish what these things are. And everything was coming back as something that's out of this world. It wasn't human, and it in fact was aliens. People were confirming it, and this was the most compelling evidence we had ever seen. And so many people around the world were, you know, checking out these things. Universities, the best forensic teams in the world, or different countries at least, from America, Russia, and I'm pretty sure Canada as well. Like, they all checked these out, and they all had the same answer, that this is aliens. This is the best proof we've ever had. But another interesting fact about these was the alien bodies they were examining and that have just come to light were over 1,000 years old, and there was proof there somehow. I don't know, I'm not an expert, I don't know how they know it's 1,000 years old, but with forensics and stuff you can find that stuff out. And to sum up the story, you can get a lot more into detail, but I don't want to start like telling you guys things because I'm not 100% sure myself. I'm not an expert when it comes to this story and aliens itself. I just have a fascination for it, and I was researching into it and thought this is an amazing video. But I don't know too much more about this situation. What I do know is, Humane was also known for looting. So when archaeologists would go and examine, you know, tombs or something like that, he would go in and essentially steal everything, and looting is now illegal. So he had a terrible reputation. So everyone was skeptical when this came to light, just based on his reputation and the whole story itself, including myself. I was very skeptical about this. My toxic way of thinking, I thought, no, it's fake straight away. And I think 99% of people are the same. When you hear a story like this, you instantly try and debunk it, you instantly think it's fake. So we have some pictures and we have some x-rays of these bodies, and the weirdest thing, they're tiny. They're like the shape of kids, and they're tiny things that are apparently flying these UFOs or whatever, but their bodies are tiny. They're not, you know, human, fully sized human bodies. But this isn't out of the ordinary, because businessman Bob Lazar claimed that in the late 80s he worked at Area 51. If you don't know what Area 51 is, it's one of the most known but secretive alien bases where essentially they worked on aliens. It was just the most secretive government place that we know today. And he claimed that back in the 80s he used to work there as someone that used to figure out what the alien technology does. The weirdest thing is, him and the rest of the employees there used to say, when referring to the aliens, as the kids. So that's in the 80s. This is now. There seems to be an occurring pattern happening here. And that's pretty much all the information I know, to be honest, guys. I don't want to start acting like I know. There's a lot more to this story, but I recommend researching it for yourself, because I do not want to tell you, you know, false evidence or things that aren't true. From what I've been researching and what I do know is, after doing a lot more research on this whole thing that's happening in Mexico, after a lot more people researching into it and, you know, experimenting and doing all the forensics and stuff they need to do, it came out that the bones they were using were wrong. And what do I mean by wrong? Some of them were human bones, but they were taken, they would be backwards. Like the fingers of these aliens in Mexico were bones, but they were backwards. And scientists proved that if these bones were functional and this thing was functioning, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't be able to walk. But this is where the conspiracies come in, because now all the people that are speculating are saying, oh, okay, it's just set up. That guy set it up using human bones, human remains, because it was also, the skull of this alien was the same as a llama, an alpaca, but it was backwards. It was turned upside down. This thing could just all be a setup, you know, could be It's completely set up by him to try and trick us, fake news, and he's been renowned for it, so that wouldn't be out of the ordinary. But then scientists are now also saying that aliens could have human traits. They could share some of the same bones and human bones that we have. And there's a lot more government things that came out of this whole situation because it was huge, it was everywhere, and for a while it was the most compelling evidence we've seen ever when it comes to aliens. So the government were on their A game. A lot of people, a lot of different parties in the government trying to shut this down. NASA even did an investigation. There was actually things that came out about the government and like files on how they would treat it and how they were already preparing for aliens invading Earth. And it was asked by like a government official, what would happen if aliens would visit Earth? And they actually have it in a file and have their sort of game plan ready for what they would do. And this is the craziest part. It says we have to obey the aliens. They wouldn't fight them. Essentially, they've already got this planned out. It's a file somewhere locked up in the government that they would not fight the aliens. And this has caused mad speculation that we'd have to essentially obey these things. And it's because the government stated what we do to ants. You know, when ants and flies are in your house, you get the spray, you spray, and they're gone. Aliens could do that to us. That's what someone high up in the government had said. But also thinking about this, the amount of power these aliens and that have on us, if they're childlike and they're the size of children flying these crazy UFOs about, that just says it all. That they're billions of years ahead of us in terms of technology. They can move at the speed of light. You know, they can do everything we can't do. We're not even close to moving at the speed of light. We're not even close to having half the technology that they have. It's kind of sensible of us to sort of obey them and go with it, because if we try to fight these things, we wouldn't last a second. We just wouldn't. So let's get a conversation in the comments down below, because I genuinely want to see your opinions on this topic, your conspiracies, what you think about this whole Mexico incident and just aliens in general. What's your conspiracy about it? Have they visited Earth?